Hi parents, hi kids. I'm doing a video now about JFS. So this is another Jewish school, usually in comparison to JCOS. So I thought I'd do them both on the same day so that you can see both and make your decision from that. So I'm going to do the same like how I did with JCOS. I have got a statement from a year 13 student who's currently there, a parent, and using the information gathered by my additional contact who runs the agency, the Tea Time Girl agency and boy agency. I'm going to start with my notes from JFS, the virtual open evening, which was last week. It was brilliant. It was so professionally done. The headmistress, Mrs. Fink, who is a JFS alumni, so she's an ex-pupil, she came across so powerfully, really articulate, very nurturing as well, but she really put across a really good image for the school. Now, I have not seen JFS in person. My husband is an ex-JFS pupil, and he plays basketball there weekly, or used to. So he knows a lot more about it than I do from a personal perspective. Everyone that I have met there from my generation who went to JFS always speaks really, really highly of the school. It is a massive school, but the benefit of that is that you always find people that are of a similar kind to you. So the video had, it was made up of 10 videos. The first one was the head speaking. She was speaking generally about the school and had like a little slideshow in the background. And on that little video, they showed like an outdoor space. It was like an amphitheatre. So it made a square, but it was all kind of incremental seating. And it showed the various ways that this space was used. And it was quite impressive, very, very versatile. So there was an image of break time where the children were just all congregating in small groups and chatting and being social. And then they showed another image of it later on where everybody was sitting in almost an assembly pre-COVID times. They all sat next to each other. So a really versatile area and space to use for a school. So Mrs. Fink talked about education, heritage and courage being at the forefront of the school. They do cookery, music, public speaking, science, drama and football as some of the things that they offer there. I particularly like the public speaking one because that's a really useful one for the future as well when you're an adult. They very proudly stated that they have had 14 Oxbridge acceptance places this year, proving that it is a very academically outstanding school. She talked about how they coach the staff, which is something very reminiscent of Compton, where they are a training ground for producing excellent members of staff and training them to the highest quality. Clubs include trampolining, and she also talked about JFS having a combined cadet force, so CCF. That's coming soon, and they can also do D.A.V., Duke of Edinburgh. Now, the school came across a bit more orthodox, and it is by history a more orthodox school. They celebrate all of the festivals, and they had a beautiful part of the video where they showed for Hanukkah the biggest box of donuts I've ever seen in my life. And they celebrate every single festival, Simchat Torah. They all do it at school because it is a Jewish school. The head, Mrs. Fink, talked about the positive mindset and resilience shown by children during lockdown, which was a really nice reflection about how the school was really trying to help them during difficult times and how well the children bounced back. They're now back at school and doing well and thriving and happy to be there. They have a dog at school, it seemed. In part of the video, there was a dog being petted by a group of children. That is a thing that is becoming a bit more commonplace. Obviously, we have to be careful for allergy reasons with some students, but to have a dog in a school is actually quite therapeutic. It teaches them about responsibility and about taking the dog out for walks, petting the dog. You learn about what they need in order to survive, what they can't eat, etc. Okay, JFS also have counsellors and wellbeing practitioners. as part of their pastoral team. Again, I'm highlighting this when a school talks about it because it's a really important feature of a school at the moment, given COVID, given everything that our children have been through over the last 9 months. Mrs. Fink talked about the applications. I'm not going to go into that because it will be on the website. You do have to give evidence of religious practice. I know it's quite challenging at the moment, but you do need to produce that. If you're putting in your application for this year, it has to be in by the 30th of October. Remember, the closing date for applications this year is the 31st of October. The head talked about there being a bold class for the academic year 7s of 2020, and 300 places will be offered for 2021. Now, it is a big school, which can be quite intimidating if you've come from a small primary school. Actually, Rainey, the year 13 student who I'm going to be talking about at the end, talked about that, how it can be an intimidating place. But it is referred to as the JFS family. You will always have a nurturing side to a school, and this school definitely has it. Now, that was the head's kind of talk. I've pulled on a couple of things that she talked about. There were 10 little videos, so I literally clicked between each of them, all really professionally done. One of the other videos was specifically about Jewish studies, about the year 7 zone. Every student is pushed to read Hebrew by the end of year 7, which is quite a feat, I think. It can be quite difficult. They have weekly tefillah sessions for years 7 and 8, if that is what you want to get involved in. Another video was all about the year 7 transition, and the head of year 7 and the coordinating teacher both came onto camera and were talking about the pastoral care that they offer, how they help all of the year 7s make new friends, and that they are a very supportive team, and that each child is linked then with an older student, which happens in a lot of schools. They have a buddy, so they can speak to them and talk to them about their experiences, and it is very helpful. Another video was about JEEP, JIEP, which is a kind of club almost, or a program that ensures a Jewish atmosphere out of the classroom. So this incorporates celebration of festivals, activities, clubs. They often offer morning davening, and they have Israel Club and a sixth form trip to Poland. So that's quite the religious element of the school comes across quite well there, I think. There was another video about English and drama, another video about technology. So they have a lot of things going on in the technology department, which was quite obvious through this video. So they do fashion and textiles. They have sewing machines, printers, and in year 7, they each make a kippah, which I thought was brilliant because that's a personal thing. You can add your own emblem or pattern, whatever you want to do, and you'll use it. They have product design and food preparation. So they do food science. That's also very handy. Another video was about the learning resources, so the library, which is open from 8 in the morning until 4 in the afternoon. They have over 40,000 books and magazines and comics, reading materials, reading resources, and 20 computers just in the library. This was interesting. So year 7 have an introduction to the library, and they have a reading test. So they would have all come from different primary schools, but they will all be of different abilities, obviously. Then they have the accelerated reading program, where they track everyone's reading progress and they actually give them book suggestions. This is the only school that I've heard of that does this, and the librarian was very on it about reading and really wants to help the children get to a really great level of reading. We know reading is super important. Next video was about the extracurricular activities at JFS. So they had the head girl and head boys. So I think it was 1 head girl and 3 head boys, so 4 of them in total. It's a big school, so you can't just have 2 places to compete for. They've opened it out sensibly. They talked about having an athletics pitch, so they each talked a little bit about them, their introductions, what they were studying, and the things that they've gotten involved in the school. They have an amazing rock climbing wall. I mean, this thing was bigger than the size of my house. Really, really impressive. So if you're into that and you like extracurricular things like that, I've never seen a rock climbing wall. Trampolining, yes, many schools have that, but a rock climbing wall was quite impressive. They have football pitches, basketball, badminton, cricket. They have some of the societies were interesting too. Feminist society, med society, so medic society, drama, leadership opportunities were variable, and the head boys and head girl talked about how they tutor other students. Now, this for me was very reminiscent of Compton. Compton School in North Finchley, the head boy and head girl talked about the same things. So this is a really good opportunity for students to take on those leadership roles and maybe even find that they are a budding teacher. The 9th video was about careers. So they have workshops, careers fairs, and one-on-one careers advisor, which is invaluable. Hence why they have these 14 applications going to Oxbridge, because they have a dedicated member of staff that is committed to that. And they have a sixth form careers centre. Now, the 10th video was a Q&A. I'm not going to talk about that because I want to get into my other 3 resources. So I spoke to a lady who ran a tea time agency, where she would have lots of children that came from both JFS and JCOS who would be paid to help families with small children from about 5 till 7 p.m. look after their children and help them cope. I've used one before. And she said that the school historically has been quite orthodox. That came across very much to me on the virtual open evening. The students are quite similar in their kind of backgrounds, and most of them are encouraged to go to university, hence the big number of Oxbridge accepted children for this year. But she said they all came across really nicely, very mature and responsible students that come from JFS. Then I spoke to a parent, Jamina, who has got a daughter that's just started in year 7. And she said the following. She said that her daughter is very happy at JFS. She's a conscientious child. She's very bright, but she's quite reserved in class, so she needs a bit of encouragement. She said that the school is so inclusive, which was really, really encouraging and shows that they're nurturing as well. They encourage independence, so they like them to work on their own, and that daughter comes home really, really happy every day. Well, isn't that what we all want? I'm really pleased. She said that there is a public bus for the JFS children, and it's very sociable and it's very safe. And they have a house system at the school. Normally they have a house system. At the moment, they're working in bubbles because of COVID. And she said that this year there are 330 kids in the year, which is a lot. Then I asked a girl called Rainey, who is in year 13, about her thoughts and feelings about JFS, and here is what she said. So she studies Spanish, maths and economics, and she wants to be an accountant when she leaves. She wants to go to university and study accounting. She only joined in year 13, and what she said was quite interesting. She came from a private school before that, and she said that JFS is a much friendlier school than her previous school. It's very sociable. And she said that JFS supports students with special needs really well. So if your child does have an additional need, this school really caters for them. And that's coming from a student to recognise that. I think that's a really powerful piece of information. JFS is a big school, she said, and it can be intimidating if you come from a small primary, which she said she did. Sixth form can be a bit disorganised. That's probably because there are loads and loads of children that go there. She said there's a mix of teachers. I really think that it depends on the child and how well they do there. So that tells me that self-motivation and self-drive is very important, especially when you get to A-levels and you are encouraged to do a lot more on your own, a lot more research and things on your own. She said it is very academic and that there are opportunities to do further maths and triple science. But there's also lots of opportunities if you are arty and creative, that you can do dance and food technology. So there is something for everybody at this school. There's a real sense of community. She talked about that. And Jewish studies being a subject that they do once a week. It's compulsory in the lower school. I think they have it twice a week in the lower school. Most students there are very happy, and she would absolutely recommend JFS. So some really, really very supportive, positive comments about JFS. I know that it has amazing facilities. It is a new school. It was in Camden back in the day, and it has now moved. Lots of grounds. And yeah, if you find this helpful, please do like and share. Go and visit the website. And I think that the tours will still be up either on YouTube or on their website. Go and have a look. And yeah, like and share. Thanks. Bye.